Welcome back to Characters in the Bible, Homegirl Edition, and today we get to talk about Mary! Now the first question you have to ask yourself when we're talking about Mary is, which one are we talking about? There are 4 Marys mentioned in our Gospels, and it's easy to get them confused. First of all, we've got Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is delivered by a bunch of demons from Jesus. She's the sister of Lazarus. She's also known as Mary from Bethany. She follows Jesus around a lot. That's not the Mary we're talking about. Then we got Mary, the mother of James. That's also not the Mary I'm talking about. There's also the Mary of the missionary, John Mark. Right again, that's not the right Mary. Today we are talking about Mary, the mother of Jesus. Now, Mary is a pretty cool character, right? She's living her life, she's doing her thing, she's a good girl. All of a sudden one day, wham, an angel pops up. He says, don't be afraid, you've been selected to carry the Messiah. It's a huge blessing, it's awesome. And Mary is like, absolutely, this sounds great, let's do it. Which is actually surprising, because if an angel showed up in your bedroom and said, hi, you've been selected by God to be pregnant, even though this is going to probably screw up your engagement, might screw up your life, and the culture, they're not going to be too happy about this whole virgin birth thing. Like, if that happened to you, I don't know, would we really be happy? But if we look at Mary's response in the Bible, she sings a song called the Magnificat. Obviously, Mary had a pretty solid faith, because as soon as this happened, she's like, your will, not mine, Lord. We're talking about your stuff now and your glory, which is really cool, but I think it's one of those things we overlook. We think, obviously, she should have been happy to carry Jesus. And I mean, yes, she should be, and that's good. But this would be a pretty large inconvenience too. But obviously, Mary recognizes who is doing what here, and in Luke chapter 1 verse 49 it says, God has done great things. This was a work of God. Mary was a virgin. Let no one confuse you on that matter. She had never known a man sexually, and then God put Jesus in her, and she was his physical mother on earth. And this was a huge blessing. It was a huge honor. But it really only looks like a blessing and an honor from the heavenly perspective. I mean, hindsight 2020, yes. Looking behind us, it's an honor to have carried Jesus. But from the heavenly perspective, this was good. Mary had that heavenly perspective because she realized this was a good thing. Now, I want to tell you about one thing that some Catholics, they're going to call Mary the Queen Mother, and they're going to tell you something like, you should pray to her. You should not pray to Mary. You should not pray to Mary. In fact, if we'll look back at Luke chapter 1 verse 49, what does Mary say? The Lord has done great things. Mary doesn't say, I have done great things. I am now blessed among women. I am now the Queen Mother, and you should pray to me. No! Not at all. Mary's like, this is God's thing, doing God's way for God's glory. Let's give him the praise. So don't let anybody confuse you about Mary being the Queen Mother, because Jesus Christ is our King. And so if we try to set Mary up as the Queen, but she's the King's mom, it gets really weird. It's not good imagery. It's not historically accurate. And it's just nuts. So don't pray to saints. Don't pretend she's the Queen Mother. Mary was just another God-following young lady, like many of you are, and she's just trying to do God's thing, God's way, and give him the glory. So Mary, we just have to say it was such a blessing that you had a great attitude and set a fantastic example for the rest of us about what to do when God changes our schedule. He changes the next 9 months of our lives, and he changes the whole course of history. Boy, I hope the Lord chooses to use you or me in ways where he can rearrange our schedule, change our lives, and then use it to do powerful things through history. Don't forget to go ahead and grab one of your Homegirl sweatshirts. You can check out the link in my description to get one for yourself today.